Hello, hello. Welcome to the LSE Chancellor Room with Dan, Patricio, and Stu. This football lark's dead easy, isn't it? Liverpool 5, West Ham 1. We've been there and we've done this before. We've seen it before. It's a great result. Liverpool's reserves beating West Ham out 5-1. Gakpo amongst the goals. Chiesa comes in on his debut, gets an assist. Mo Salah gets a goal because it's inevitable. And yeah, all around, it was a nice night of football for a midweek. Building us up for this weekend's football. Patricio, how are you? All good, wasn't it? Did you expect the
Yeah,
result?
yeah, no. To be honest, I didn't know what to expect coming into the West Ham game, especially with the fresh new nine on. But no, I think it was a great game. Wasn't going to expect it anymore. You could see the players were hungry to score goals, and that's what we got from it. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
It was a difficult one because there was a lot of players there who were getting their first starts, and some of them were getting their first starts in a long, long time. Kwanzaa was getting his first start, obviously, since Ipswich. Bradley hasn't started a football match yet. Darwin Núñez with his only his second start. Federico Chiesa with his first start. So there was a lot of new players who didn't know each other, haven't played together, and they got it together. It was a bit of a mucky start, kind of expected. We kept a nice clean sheet for the first 15, 20 minutes, which was, for me, is one of the biggest improvements I've seen with Liverpool, and it's becoming a routine situation. Other than the AC Milan game, we've been very, very solid in that opening first 15, 20 minutes, where we've not conceded a goal. But when we did concede today, it was a bit of a calamity. But Stu, I was mostly very impressed with the way that we responded to that. Like, what did you make of the way that we went down under like a calamity of a situation with Endo trying to clear the ball and hitting off Kwanzaa? What did you make of the way that the team responded to that?
I was actually quite impressed, to be fair. I'll echo the sentiments like sort of the start of the match. It was all a little bit, what's the word, disjointed. It felt a little bit disjointed. Things just weren't clicking smoothly. To be expected, as has been rightly pointed out. 9 changes into the team is huge. So it's going to take a little while. The goal was conceded. Yeah, it was a little bit comedic, I'd say, in defending, a little bit unlucky more than anything else. But the response after that, can't fault it. At the end of the day, you just got to look at the result. the goals scored, which 5 for us and 1 for them, and technically we scored that one. It's pretty good evening. So I can't really fault it. The attitude is there. Slot's got him ticking quite nicely at the moment.
He certainly does. Arne Slot must think this football game's dead easy, must he? For the Premier League's out, is it? He's turned up and he's been a revolution so far. He's doing everything in a very quiet manner, and it's nice to see a big result as well. It's lovely to see your 1-0s, your 2-0s, and your 3-1s and stuff. But it's always nice every so often just get one that's a bit of a statement. You get a fair few goals, and the goals are important because of who, pardon me, in my opinion, scored them. I thought Jota, after having a very good start to the season, kind of did Jota things again, didn't he, for a little while, where he sort of disappeared in games, wasn't really being influential from the start and position. And it was like, even I put in our comments, and can he get back to being a super sub again? Because he just wasn't being. It's frustrating because I know how good of a player he is. And it's just like, why is it you can't start the way you come on? Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you two different people? Like,
he's not the only player that does it, but I know exactly what you mean. You can't explain it why that happens, but he just does. Right?
He's definitely not. Another one's Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott is another player who I can't watch him start a game and be able to say to any of you, if any of you can, and you out there in YouTube and Twitter world, tell me, when has either of them started a game and you can go, that was a game. That was the one that, you can kind of say he was brilliant from minute one. Because I can't, and it just become a little bit frustrating. But he come in today, first goal, having gone 1-0 down. Federico Chiesa saw the lights. He saw his name up in lights. Didn't he? He saw the headlines. He saw everything went slow motion. He run his hand through his hair, and he went for the old bicycle kick, and it turned into an assist. And I'm saying he meant the whole thing completely, and he didn't go try to shoot at all, and it was pinpoint. And Jota got the goal. And it was a header. It was something that he's well known for. So happy for him to do that one. But then the one that really got me was that finish. that was the on through one-on-one with the keeper, Jones, who I thought didn't have the best of games, but showed that bit of class. 2 touches, played him through, and Jota slotted away. Patricio, Diogo Jota, I mean, would you say he's starting from the substitute? Do you think he started at the weekend?
I think I think he will start at the weekend. Although I have been liking Nunes starting and Jota being a super sub. I think that works out better. It less impacts Jota less and allows Nunes to get those minutes in, so he can feel more confident on the ball. And we can start getting a score in Nunes back. Well, hopefully. So I think that's what I would say I'd like to happen. But I think from today's slot might pick Jota over Nunes. I thought we've had a great game today. Couldn't have asked anything else from the boys. I loved how much Gakpo wanted to fight for the goals, and Jota as well. You can see how frustrated Nunes was getting when he wasn't getting that one ball to him to tap it in. And Chiesa as well, you can see he wants to have his name in lights and score that amazing goal, but it hasn't happened for him yet. But it will do. It will do.
Yeah, we know it's coming. Yeah, and again, Cody Gakpo, someone who I've been on this channel, and many people who obviously watch me when I obviously host my streams, that I was questioning as to where does Gakpo fit into this Liverpool team? Because in my opinion, I said it from the start, Luis Diaz is our starting player. He was starting before a ball was kicked, and Luis Diaz has proved me wrong as the way that he started the season. That it's no longer just lots of hard work and running. There's lots of hard work and running, and end product, and goals, and finishing, and all that good stuff that was lacking last season. And we have to give it up to the coach. This doesn't just come out of the blue. This isn't just luck. This isn't just a purple patch. This is clearly something that Slot and his team have been working on, putting players to make better decisions, and it's benefiting a number of players. And Cody Gakpo's come in, having not been able to obviously get past Luis Diaz as it stands now as a starting player, but he comes in and scores 2 great goals, one a bit fortuitous with a big deflection, but if you don't work hard like you do, that doesn't happen. And I'm really impressed with it. It's hard to say where he is in this team. It is difficult. He is at the moment second choice even after today's result, but is that really a bad thing, Stu?
No, I think it's really now. What? How many games are we into the season now? League and Cup. What, 6?
We're on to our 6th game on the weekend.
Yeah.
1 Champions League, 1 League Cup.
I think even that is a short space of time in footballing terms for what Slot has done, but I think that is definitely highlighting the fact that we have European class forwards in the left, centre, and the right hand side now, and that's great from our standpoint. It's going to be scary for teams coming up to face it, because they're going to be looking at it again. Okay, right, so one weekend we could be facing Jota, Salah, and Diaz. Next weekend we could be facing Nunes, Gakpo, and Chiesa. I mean, you think about it, that's going to get into the psychological side of things as well. And going back to the main point of Gakpo and Diaz, no, I don't think it's a bad thing. In fact, actually, I think it's already starting to work into our benefit by raising their game levels, both of them. Criticism of Diaz was his output. His output this season, to start with, was it 5 goals, 3 assists? Brilliant. That's exactly what we want.
It's been unbelievable from Diaz. Like, his starting, if he carries on just at this rate, he only needs to play another 5 games and stop, and he's already a better player than he was last season. Like, and it really is. It's as simple as that, because he starts like a house on fire. Obviously, it helps when your mum and dad haven't been kidnapped in the jungle in Colombia. That is a benefit, and we don't have a statistic to how that affects your GA. However, obviously, it's going to. And I mean, I'm putting it down to the coaches. I put it down to the very start, and I know a lot of people kind of shot me down early, but I was so impressed in the way that this team has very, very quickly. This is now an Arne Slot team. This isn't Jurgen Klopp's team anymore, and he's trying to it's his team, it's his squad. They're playing his football, and what I do like is something like you rightfully said there is that I always feel like there's an opportunity for everybody to get into this team. There's an opportunity to get out of the team, as in the way that you play, and we're seeing that with Jarell Quansah, that you don't do what you need to do. There's a door to come out of. There's like you will move, but that then means that this is an opportunity for the next person to come in and say, right, I'm in now. I've got this opportunity, and Gakpo's doing that right thing. He's saying, listen, I know Diaz is playing well, but if he drops off on his standards, if he drops off and goes back to being the player he was last season,
I'm going to be there.
I'm right here. And I think where under Klopp, perhaps there was some favoritism. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. I think there was players that he trusted, players that he kind of gave a little bit too much to. Where they could have too many bad games. They could have too many games where it's like, what are you doing?
I think Slot doing that early rotation, a couple of substitutions here and there, like in the first couple of games of the season, Quansah in the first game of the season against Ipswich coming off at half time, a couple of times when he took Trent off. And it's little statements like that, it gets the message put across to say, look, nobody's a favourite. I don't care whether you're playing badly or whether I think you just need a little bit of a rest or whatever. My decision is this, and that is it. You're going to accept it. If not, you can leave, so to speak. It kind of feels that way now, and that's what I think. They're all a really good, close-knit team anyway, so it's just raising everybody's game level. And the fact that our squad depth, you look at our bench now,
Jamie Carragher said it, wasn't it? There was the best bench in Liverpool history, and he isn't lying. He's genuinely not lying. I don't think we can ever look at a picture and go, have Liverpool had a stronger bench? No. I mean, perhaps had Alisson been on the bench because he wasn't injured, but he was the second, maybe yes, you would have said so. But it was just, I'm just, as I say, I'm so impressed that we came into a game that, in my opinion, and from the very start, and I'll say this from now until if we're lucky enough to go to a final, this is a secondary objective. This is not an objective of today. I would not sit here tonight and say, if had we lost or lost on penalties or something like that, and said that this is, a mark against Arne Slot, a mark against where Liverpool are as a progression. It's not. We did brilliantly under Jurgen Klopp when we didn't take the Carabao and the FA Cup as seriously. And that's the truth. You can go back and do that. And we all love winning the FA Cup, and we all love the League Cup, and the memories and all the rest of it. But they're not a primary concern for us. This should be the B team, like my man Squidly 2018's put in there. It's that this is the B team's competition, and it needs to remain the B team's competition. If we draw, I don't know, Chelsea away in the next game, hopefully not. For me, just send the B team. If we lose, it doesn't matter. It's not a priority, because ultimately the Champions League and the Premier League are the two trophies that matter. Everything else is just a bonus, and it's your B team's opportunity to go for. I don't know if I'm wrong in viewing that. I don't know if you guys at home disagree with me. I want to hear what you have to say. Something I want to put in there, because Jamie Hughes has put a good comment in, and it's probably worth mentioning from somebody going, panel. We really did miss Gravenberch today, as Hashashin Farsi said. I hope I'm not butchering your name there. I'm trying to be too negative. We did miss him, yeah, but I think I'll ask Patricia this, and this is my opinion. In the next, say, 12 months to the end of this season, not everybody's making it. Not everybody is going to be in our team next season. And I think that, unfortunately, it's going to mean that we're going to have to struggle sometimes. We're going to have players who can't do maybe what we need them to do. I am looking at players like Endo, perhaps Curtis Jones, perhaps Kostas Tsimikas, are players who aren't going to make it. Patricio, am I wrong in thinking that, or what do you think?
No, I think you've said it spot on. There are three names in my head as well. Based on how they played today as well, sort of highlighted that they're not going to stay. To be honest, I'm surprised we even kept Tsimikas this season. Had we have gotten a left back or a centre back that is versatile and can go to left back, I think Tsimikas would have phased out. I am surprised that Joe Gomez isn't going at left back more, to be honest. That's what's surprised me a bit, especially with the season he had last season covering for us, covering for Robbo. So I think going forward, I don't see Tsimikas being here next season. And then, yeah, obviously we already know Endo's being phased out. He's not favourite for the slot style of play. He is, obviously, when we bought him, he was getting in age, and he's obviously getting older. So yeah, we already know the type of player we want. I'm just glad that we have Gravenberch there, but we can't rely on him for all these games in case something untoward, nothing happens to him. So yeah, I mean, you can tell today we missed the intensity of Gravenberch on the pitch when he would intercept balls or take players on, run into the free space to then make those passes. So you can see we missed that today. I mean, only from Jota's goal could I see that Jones has actually done a little bit of something, but other than that, nothing else remarkable that I've seen him do. Endo, yes, he kind of dropped back when he had to and be a bit more defensive, but still from him, it wasn't anything electric or anything, which you're not expecting it to be. So, yeah, I think I agree with you. Those three might phase out. Possibly Jones is the only one to stay out of those three, to be honest.
Yeah, and I've said this in our chat and things, and it's a process, and it's not always going to be positive. It's not always going to be sunshines and rainbows. It's going to be people who are going to make it. Gravenberch is somebody who's clearly going to make it. He was somebody many people, myself included, some went much further than I did. I just didn't quite know exactly where he fit in this team. I didn't quite know what is it that he's a great player, but like, what is it he fits here? Like, does he fit with us as like our unit and what we do? And of course he does. It's like it all makes sense. It's like the Danny DeVito one where it's like it all makes sense now. And that's where everyone is kind of at now with him. I think you're right. You can't play every game, but the difficulty is we talk about Zubimendi in January, Zubimendi whenever he gets off his mountain. The question is Zubimendi isn't starting, is he? I mean, Gravenberch is not being. Is there a player now that Rodri is unfortunately injured? Is there a player who you can sit there and tell me with chest and say, Dan, that lad's coming into the team and he's putting him on the bench? Like, and it's not even a question. I'm asking the people out there. I'm asking the panel. I'm asking anyone to come and tell me right now. When we say about signing a six, it makes it difficult when players you have are already better than the ones that you're bringing in. So the better than the ones you're already bringing in, it means you're bringing in bench options. Now, if you're bringing in bench options, it means you don't spend 50 million quid. We're not a state-sponsored team. We can't have a bench filled with 50, 60 million pound players because, unlike tonight, where we can tonight, by everyone, but we can't do that, obviously for a Premier League situation because we just don't have that kind of money. We're not, that kind of a team. But there will be players like Endo, who ultimately I think he was a stopgap who turned into a bit of a cult hero, played brilliantly last season that no one really expected, and that's great. Oh yeah, sorry, Muse. Yeah, somebody's watching it. It's Stu's keeping an eye on the draw for us, so he's going to throw
Spurs,
in there.
Man City.
Spurs, Man City. We'll take that one. So we live to fight another day on that one. We'll bring it to you as soon as we know. Stu, while you're obviously keeping your eye on that one, I'll go back to Patricio for a second. Defensively wise, Jarell Kwanzaa coming back in. Forget the own goal because I mean, ultimately, when the ball's kicked to you like that, it's not your fault. What did you make of him tonight? Did you think this was like a bit of a redemption audition, shall we say? I don't think he needs redemption, but do you think this was like a kind of a situation for him to say, Slot saying to him, go out there and take another chance? Do you know what I mean?
I think a little bit, yes. Had it have been a Premier League game on the weekend, I think we might have seen a bit more of an aggressive Kwanzaa. I think he might have played a little bit better. I don't know how to say this, but when I saw him today on the pitch, he didn't seem that focused on like that it was that important to him. I don't know if you've seen that as well, but maybe because he got
sorry, just we got Brighton away.
There you go. That's us out then.
Brighton away.
No, I joke. That's not too bad. But again, yeah, we'll go on to that in just 2 seconds. Patricia, carry on, mate. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So I think, and I can definitely see Kwanzaa getting back into the team. Like towards the end of last season, Kanate obviously he is injury prone, and we are concerned about that. But I did like Kwanzaa last season. I think he played phenomenally, and I do want him to get back into that role where I can count on him as a right-handed centre back to just perform well for us. Like, don't get me wrong, he wasn't like a massive fault today. And to be fair, the goal wasn't even his fault. I think personally, Kelleher should have acted a bit quicker and jumped on top of the ball. To be honest, and then there wouldn't have been all the kicking about. But that was just a messy goal. I think the rest of it, defensively, we played really well. Even Joe Gomez at centre back, I thought he did a great job there. And I'm used to him being a fullback, so yeah, no, I think played really well.
Yeah, I thought they did well up against, say, a Premier League outfit. It was at Anfield. It was 5-1. It's a great result. I felt at times that, of course, it was disjointed, but it can be. There are a bunch of players who haven't played together in a pitch, and you can't ask them to be, fluid and play in this great way. I felt there was some really good individual performances. I felt some players took that opportunity, and I think Kwanzaa did himself some really good favours. I don't think at any point anyone lost any faith in him. But at the end of the day, and the truth is that Ibrahima Konate should be in front of Jarell Kwanzaa. It's a problem if he's not. It's a problem that, the player we spent 40-odd million pounds for, who plays for the French national team, is not ahead of your 22-year-old English centre-back who's only played for Bristol prior to playing for us. That would be our problem more than anything. And don't get me wrong, it's great when they come through. But Konate, it's Van Dijk, Konate, there's your two, and then it's going to be Jarell Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez and all that good stuff. But you would hope that maybe with the way that Slot has been able to do this with his previous teams and keeping players fit and keeping them healthier for longer, that perhaps we will see a much longer sort of centre-back partnership between Konate and Van Dijk, because when Konate is on it, he is well and truly on it, and he is one of the best centre backs in the league. So yeah, I thought it was great for Kwanzaa. I think this is the Brighton game will be a good thing for us to kind of finish on. So we're going up against Brighton, 28th of October away. I don't see any reason between now and next month to kind of not really be starting practically the same team, and that's just on the basis of that it's still, for me, it's not a priority. Stuart, what do you think of that? Like, I know it is what the situation is, and it's not the most ideal of draws for Liverpool in terms of progression, but from the way that we played tonight, the way that obviously Brighton are a good team, but they're a different team, I don't see a reason why our second string hasn't got every opportunity to go there and still go and get a result in that game. No,
I don't see any reason why not either. Obviously, touch wood, no injuries or anything like that. That side is more than capable of, in my opinion anyway, more than capable of getting all the way to the final. I have absolutely no qualms in saying that. I think every player, once we got the first 20-25 minutes out of the way tonight, stepped up, and you could see the system working again. And if you can see the system in a starting 11 and then a second 11 after that, and you got two really good teams. The second team, against Brighton, we should be all right. We should be all right. And I think we're more than capable of getting all the way there.
Yeah, and as I say, I'm obviously very, very happy with tonight's result, but it's difficult for me to get overly excited because ultimately, as I say, my opinion of this trophy and what it means to Liverpool and to Arne Slot's first season is that this is sort of just an opportunity. It's like it's a bonus. It's like here you go. Here's a game that you can go and give a lad you want to get minutes into the legs. You want someone to give an opportunity to go on. Chiesa, for example, could get 60 minutes under his legs, which was all pre-planned. It was, it's a pre-planned substitution. He was going to play 60 minutes. And again, I am certain, barring injuries, is that ultimately that won't be the case. Federico Chiesa won't be starting to get minutes. He'll be starting, I would hope, to be totally honest with you, being the one who's going to be challenging to be trying to get into this team, whether that's through the middle, whether that goes over onto the left. Of course, he's not getting Mo Salah out of this team. You'd have to get him out with a crowbar. So, boys and everyone at home, thank you very much for joining us. I'm having a short one because it's late. I'm sure it's not late everywhere where you're watching Liverpool on this occasion, but it is over here in the UK. Thank you very much for joining us. Stick a like on. Do get involved in the chat next time you're with us if you've not already been. I want to hear your opinions. I want you to get involved. I hope you've all had a good evening because I know I have. So on to the weekend. Join us tomorrow. Match preview. Saturday night is going to be the match reaction, hopefully after a good win away against Wolves. So hopefully we can meet you there. Get us to like and subscribe, and of course get involved with the chat, and we will see you all next time. Patricio, Stu, thank you so much for your time, and take care, everyone.
Cheers.